My name is Shayna Bayo, and I will be talking about recursions. A recursive function is one that calls itself. It's a way to break a complex problem into something more simple to solve. It's a way to repeat that process over and over again until you get to a more simple solution. That simple solution is called the base case. When you keep adding up the base case solution, you'll be able to reach the solution to the bigger problem. A quick example would be if your goal was to read 1,000 words. You could try to read all 1,000 words at once, or you could break it down into 100-word increments. So you then would read 100 words instead, and then your problem would be reduced by 100 words each time until you get to the simplest solution, which is 0 words. Then you'd be done. I'll explain how to write a recursive method that calls itself. Here's my example code called recursion example. I wrote a method called recursive sum where I add up a bunch of integers to get the sum. So for this example, I'm only adding up 5 integers, 1, 2, 3, plus 4, plus 5. When you write a recursion function, you have to make sure to have a base case. This makes sure you don't keep calling the same function infinitely. You need something to stop the function. So for example, this method has the base case 0, which is n equals 0. If the number is 0, it just returns the number itself right here instead of calling the recursive function. After that, you would write the recursive part, which is the part that breaks the problem down into a smaller problem. So for this particular situation, we're trying to add up each number, incrementing the number by 1 each time. Basically, we can see that there is a simple pattern that you're adding in over and over again, but each number it's added to will decrease by n until it reaches 0, which is right here. This would be the recursive base. So if I run this code, you would get 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equals 15. So that's how you would do the recursive sum method. So if I wanted to do the exact same thing but using a loop iteration, I could do this one. So here's my method called iterate sum. So basically, iteration just repeats itself over and over until the condition is false. In this case, the condition is that the starting integer has to be less than or equal to n. The starting iteration would be at 1, and the incremental part would be incrementing by 1 each time. So the sum would be 1, and the sum would be the sum added to the n plus 1, and so on until it reaches 5. This is how I'll show my iterate sum method. Let me comment out the recursive sum method. And if you run it, it does the same thing. It adds up the 5 integers and they equal 15. So you could do the same thing either with the loop or with the recursive sum method. And this is my video on recursions. Thank you and have a good day.